What's going on, everybody? Today is going to be a little bit of suspension work. It's on the 87 IROC Camaro. Of course, I had to wait until the hottest part of the day. It's about 102 today. So why not start it at 3 o'clock? So basically, all the plan is today is to put some front struts on it and the inner and outer tie rods. It needs brake lines. They're not bad. They're not leaking. They're just a little chipped. May or may not need ball joints. Doesn't seem like it, but we're gonna check the bearings, the front wheel bearings. Probably just repack them. They feel fine. They don't feel crunchy, but they're probably gonna need to be repacked and make sure that they're the right tightness. But anyways, so that's what we're gonna do. Replacing the struts on the front of a Camaro is very basic. There's no coil springs to take out, so follow along and. Hope somebody gets something out of this. There's a lot of videos on how to do it, so it's not rocket science. It just takes a little bit of time. This side's done, so I'll show you a little key points on what I'm going to be doing on the other side. So I'll show you this side, and then I'll do the other side. The first thing you want to do is take off your top bolt. It's a 10 millimeter with, I just used the 7/8. It's close enough. And they're pretty tight, really tight. These ones were the original, so they're very tight. So take those off, and then down here, you want to put your support jack underneath here to hold it up. You want to bust off your tie rod. Those are going to get replaced anyways, so those are gone. So this moves free. And then you cannot get these loose unless you want to take everything off. So what you want to do is put your wrench on here. I think it's 15/16, I believe, and then get your torque bar on this thing and take the back bolts. Hold the front ones, take the back ones off. Also take this off. This is your brake line holder. You can see it's going to need to be replaced. I mean, it's not horrible. I'm not going to die today, but the goal is to just be able to drive this thing around a little bit. It still has a little bit of crap in the tank, so we're going to go through a couple of fuel filters, but it just needs to be driven. That gas needs to be sloshed around in there and burn through a couple of tanks of gas to clear everything out. But I mean, it's not too bad. I mean, this is what an Arizona car looks like, everybody. Really no rust, just dry. The factory shocks were totally leaked out. I mean, I could barely just push down on this one that I replaced, and it was flat. So I decided to go with some regular KYBs. Just to see how they performed. I think if we do coil springs in the future on this thing, we'll probably change these out and put a little bit better one on. The white IROC's got the adjustables on it. These are just regular KYBs. Kind of cheapy, but you know, I guess that they're not too bad. Don't know. Guess we're going to find out. I'm just curious if there's a ride quality difference since I have two of these cars. Just see if I can tell a difference between the cheap ones and the nicer ones. So follow along, and I'll get to the other side. Make sure you support yourself underneath here, everybody. And like I said, hold this bolt and the bottom one and take it off from this side, and much easier. Okay. Nothing. You know, I felt a little bit of play, which I thought might be ball joints, or these weren't very tight. And so I'm thinking these aren't tight enough. Not that they're supposed to be tight, but thing is to snug. And I've never had a bearing go bad, but snuggy. Back it off the fur. Yep. They were barely finger tight. They weren't even finger tight. And I thought I felt a little movement up and down, side to side, mechanical, hard movement. So I think maybe it's this. Hopefully. Load up the cup, a little bit more.
It's 54 and a quarter.
Okay, so just with the tape measure, this wheel's the one that looked like it was off. Just towed in a little bit. So I brought it out and then measured again, and almost a quarter, about an eighth of an inch from front to back. So an eighth of an inch wider on the back, narrower in the front. And then also, just to make sure, I measured from one center bolt on the inner tie rod, where it hooks to the drag link, to the same spot on the tread, and it was equal on both sides. So that, I mean, that gets me close enough to not cause any damage until I can get to the alignment shop. So at least I'll be able to drive it around and test on it just for a day or two, and maybe put 20 or 30 miles on it if I can, and then get it aligned. So cool, should be good to go. I'm going to tighten up the adjuster bolts on the tie rods and then drop it down. Okay, so as of right now, the front suspension is done. I'll put back together. The front steering is handled. Got it aligned. It was pretty close. Rear shocks are done. Those are easy. Anyone can do those. And yeah, so that's done. The wheel bearings seem to be fine. Got some construction in the neighborhood right now. Sorry about that. Anyways, so as it stands, I put the KYB cheapy shocks on there. That's not the right thing to do for this car. The white IROC's got the adjustable KYBs. They feel good. They feel like they should. This one, these shocks probably should go on a V6 car maybe. I don't know. They're okay. They're better than what it was, but I mean, you get what you pay for on those things. So probably going to be changing those out as soon as we figure out what we're going to do suspension-wise on it. Anyways, it's aligned, it runs, it drives, and the good news is it's developing a lot more problems. So, you know, when cars sit and you get them going again, it's just like sometimes it's a snowball effect, and that's what we have now. It's exciting. So let me show you what's going on. Sometimes you get a little stumped. I might have to phone a friend, but let me show you where we're at right now with this car. Okay, so currently we have developed an excessive crank to start issue, and also we have an idling issue. And while you're driving along, it doesn't overheat, it runs fine, but when you're driving it has died, just flat out like lost power and died, and starts right back up. So felt like it was a fuel issue, so I pulled the fuel filter off. Can't remember if I actually ever replaced it, but we replaced it, put a Wix in, helped out a little bit. This is what came out. I don't know if you could see that. It's espresso. So I'm going to say at this point in time, 90% of what's going on with this car is probably the gas tank. I really don't want to drop this thing, so the thought was to try to drive through it, change filters out. You know, the bottom of the tank's probably got a bunch of stuff in there, and it's just getting shook around and coming out through. I think it's probably getting to the injectors. And it's mainly just an idle issue. Everything seems to happen at idle. We smoked it, and let me show you what the result of that was. That's new. Just some basic small vacuum leaks. However, the throttle body is new. That's a new one, BBK. The bushings in the stock TPI unit were they're blown out. There was smoke pouring out of them excessively. So I put this in here. Got a good deal on it. It has a little heavier throttle spring on it. Don't know if I care about that too much, but you know, it is what it is. This is not made a difference, however, in the drivability and performance. You can tell it's got a little bit more power. It's a 58 millimeter throttle body, but yeah, didn't seem to help out too much. So that's probably going to go on the white car, because the white car's got a little bit of motor work done to it. So I think it'd be more beneficial on that car, and then put that TPI on this thing. So anyways, I set the throttle position at 0.54, and it seems to be right. However, still having the issues. So it seems like an electrical issue all of a sudden. Maybe it's an electrical thing. So you know, it's just like loses power, comes back on, weird stuff. So further investigation. I don't know if you could see this or not. So this has all been gone through. That's new. I just put that on there. Thought that might be an issue. I had one, so I just, you know. But look at that. Obviously been replaced. Could have a wiring issue here. Maybe a bad connection or something. So that's where we're at. It's a process. So new air conditioning, blows cold. So everything's, I mean, the car's coming along. It's almost ready for paint. So anyways, that's where we're at on this thing right now. And we'll try to just diagnose those and take it step by step. We'll get it all handled out and get it painted, and then go from there. That's one of the trucks we're working on. It's kind of been neglected a little bit because I'm juggling 2 Camaros right now, and that's cool. So got a lot of content on that truck. That truck's badass. And anyways, Dixie started out nice, giving me problems. It's to be expected. So we'll just chug along with it. And thanks for watching. And yeah, if anybody has any ideas or comments on this thing, let me know. Like I said, I'm not a mechanic, but I play one on TV.